Hi, I'm a few minutes late. Um, I do apologize. Had to get myself together to get my daughter situated. Hope everyone is having a great Monday. And I just want to make sure that I can see comments. Say, hi, how you guys doing? Let me know how you guys are doing. I'm just logging in to follow along if there's any comments that come through Facebook. Okay, hope everyone's doing well on this Monday. And today, I just wanted to go over quickly 4 areas that you absolutely must focus on for your best results with your Microlocs. Okay, so these are the 4 critical areas. I define best results as locks that are the strongest that they can be, the most resilient, and look the way you want them to look. So everyone has their definition, everyone has their standards, but I definitely feel that, excuse my squeaky chair, that great locks are strong. So let me just set up my space a little bit. I don't want you guys to see so much junk in my background. Okay, I'm streaming in multiple places, but I want to make sure you guys know about the free Facebook group. And that's freemicroloctraining.com/join. And that is where I host the bulk of the free trainings and support. So if you are in the group already watching, hopefully you can watch. Okay, so I'm speaking from the experience of almost 12 years this month. As a professional stylist, as a person wearing this style, and what I've seen consistently that needs to be done to ensure that your results are great. If you focus on these 3 areas, you have a very, very high chance of having what you want, having your locks look and just be super resilient and strong. So the first one is foundation, and that the foundation is sized appropriately. So that's taken into consideration things like your curl pattern, like the density of your hair, the fullness, the look that you are trying to achieve, and that the base itself is strong. So I always feel like there isn't going super small hasn't, even though these are can be considered super small, there are some blocks that can be even smaller than this. And I always feel like there is a too small for a lot of people. And then there's a too small that just doesn't, for practical reasons, make sense. But also you can achieve the same kind of look that you like, small, neat, strong locks without making sure that the foundation is strong. So that's first and foremost. The foundation shouldn't be set on hair or scalp that is breaking or thinning, or a bunch of things. And it's more than just how neat the parts are. So I tend to think foundation can become synonymous with how symmetrical, which is beautiful, and it's really great that people can really, really get down that grid. But foundation is so much more than just that. And I always say a good foundation can take you through long stints of not having your hair done, where a lot of people couldn't get to their stylist or someone else to do their hair. Some people couldn't do their own, for whatever reason. That happens to me. I know how to do it, but there's times I couldn't keep up myself. Life got in the way. So, but I always say when the foundation is done really well, you can rehab those locks really well. You can just jump right back in. And usually what you're just dealing with is just a lot of growth and less problems. So the foundation is super important, and that strong base. Number 2, the second area that is super important is the lock tension. I always use my hair as an example, but just to kind of show you what I mean. I don't mean tension to the scalp. I mean tension throughout the lock, where those hairs are, the lock is pulled in. So my daughter, her locks are 9 months. She has a lot, her locks are still newer. And so I always have to make sure that I go in and I keep that tension consistent so that the hair can continue to follow the pattern that's laid and lock around it. But if the tension is weak in any area, just like a frayed rope, it will have a spot that can potentially fray, can break. Um, I always say you're only as strong, your hair is only as strong as the weakest spots with the weakest length. Ah, I don't know if I'm live on Instagram, but my phone just went dark. We're letting your followers know. I think I'm not live on IG, so I apologize. I'm trying to get it to go. But so lock tension is important. Less spaces, usually a stronger lock. Especially if all the middle of it is tightened. Um, that's because we don't want your lock to break off here. Now, some shedding and some of the ends coming off is normal, but let's just say it's close to the scalp, you're having a lot of locks break off. That's problematic, as opposed to some natural end shedding, which happens all the time. It happens to me. We get these layers going on. It's a different story than there being weak spots that we could prevent, that we could pay attention to for the overall look and strength of your locks. And when locks are in the early process of, earlier in the stages of it, the locks are spongier. They can be fluffier, and this should be tightened up as much as possible. So I don't. Sometimes people will notice that their sessions might be a little longer in the beginning, or as their locks are forming, and then it becomes faster and faster. And I say because the attention that we're putting on the lock itself, the lock tension itself now, is going to give you the results you want down the line. It's going to make your retightenings quicker, less problems, and give you what you're looking for. But if we try to let those things go and think they're going to correct themselves, you're kind of like just gambling with nature. It really needs that support. Sorry, guys on IG, my phone just rang. So that's the second area. Okay, so the third area that you should absolutely focus on for your best results with Microlocs is that the lock quality, that it's even, smooth, and consistent. Any areas that you can eyeball, feel, that are lumpy or bumpy, you absolutely, if you want the best quality, if this is what you desire, again, people don't, I can't speak for people. I just know that if people are looking for a certain look, you have to get that either repaired and or groomed. Excuse me. Grooming is separate from repair. So I did grooming yesterday with my daughter to clean up, and I did light repair. She didn't have a lot to repair, but it did require smoothing out, evening out, and making the consistency of the lock itself even. That helps the hair. Lock into the pattern. Okay, so you don't want bumps, puffs, pockets of hair hanging out. And the fourth and final, I wish I could see questions. I don't know if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm only going to be here on to do this, but I'm going to be live so that just in case you do have anything, you want to say hi, you can say hi, ask any questions. But the fourth and final is that all hair locked into the lock. I talk about that all the time. When people want curly ends or they see something curly, they could be seeing someone in an early stage of locking. They could see someone whose hair hasn't been pulled on into the lock. And with that, leaving the loose hair out like that can become a problem. How? Because if it's not taken care of, you can expect for it to fall into the pattern and to lock. It's not in the pattern. It's not just going to fall off necessarily. It could swell, bunch up, expand, become like a knot if it doesn't have proper treatment. So there are people who do start their hair with perms. I've started a few clients' hair with perms. And what we did was that loose hair was left and it was treated just the way we would treat that hair. It had to be a very careful process. But because that hair was loose, we needed to tend to it. Couldn't just leave it. And that was the only exception. Other than that, we're starting with your natural, your curly coiled hair, we're locking it all in. all the way to the end. Now I saw one of my locks. It's natural. There's a little bit of hair left out, but I'm not trying to have a style with it out. So like the faux lock look or the bohemian locks, that's a whole different, like that's the, it is loose out. I get the concept, but for really locking, especially on our size or microlock size locks, it is not a desirable thing to do for long-term results. Also, hair that's out anywhere along the length of the lock will fluff out and mat differently, okay, without the assistance of the pattern. And it may make the lock bigger in areas and hard to pull through. And then if that big portion of that lock gets hard, it's hard to repair it. So so I'll go over the 4 areas again. You definitely want to focus on the foundation, sized appropriately, strong, taking into consideration curl pattern, density, fullness, and making the base strong. And it's okay to go a little, to not have them microscopic. It's actually problematic, and most of the times people have to combine them. Lock tension is consistent, that it's tightened. Less spaces usually mean a stronger lock. It doesn't mean that the lock is better, it just means it's stronger, it's tighter, there's more resilience it can take. Spongy, fluffy locks early in the process should be tightened up as much as possible. Lock quality, smooth, even consistent. And that requires repair and regrooming, especially early in the early phases. And the 4th one is all hair locked into the lock. Okay. So yeah, those are the 4 areas. All right. I want to, if you're not in the group, I can see you guys if you guys want to say hello. I want to make sure that you join the free Facebook group. Of course, type it and it went away. When you join the free Facebook group, you also get added to the email list, and you can get in constant communication and updates, trainings, resources, freebies, promos. Excuse me, y'all, because I put it here and it didn't stay. Okay. All right. So I thank you guys for taking the time. If there are no questions, if there are no comments, thank you for joining. All right. Have a wonderful day. I guess I can't see any comments on the pages. I can only see comments in the group. So I do apologize. Oh, actually, I think I do too have comments. Oh, hi guys. Hi, Gwendolyn. Can I do a live video on Microloc extensions, please? So what you're asking for is for me to do a top-notch training on something I invested over a decade worth of trial and error, prepared tons of money and poured into. To do for free on a live, what I probably could do is show you some things I can do with the Microloc extensions, but actually creating them is very involved. I don't even use techniques that I've used a few years ago. I've even, tweaked and refined techniques that I've done a few months ago. So it's very involved, and I even was saying, how could I even teach this? Because it's one of those, it's a very advanced for the look that I'm not doing just wrap. Wrap technique is something I did 10 years ago. It doesn't resemble locks long term. If they come out, they unravel. It gives a lot of problems. But there's another technique that I do, and it's very intricate, very involved. So, but I do think that there's some things that I can do with it. And then I'll let you guys know about that. And there's some just some creative things that I do with the lock extensions. And some comments may not go through. Only those who've given permission to StreamYard to actually have your comment show. So I do not know your name. You just come up as Facebook user, and then I see Gwendolyn's name. So, but yeah, these are for me. There's plenty of other things that um areas and things to focus on. And well, we'll talk about it again. I'll be back here on Thursday. And then next week, for those who are in my email list, I actually officially launch um, uh, the webinar series, and you'll get those links. And then there are a lot of really, really cool bonuses that are going to be coming out. So I appreciate you being a part of these lives, and I will see you next. I'll see you next time, Thursday, 6 p.m. Bye, guys.